understanding the psychology of B2B buyers. So it's all very well me just banging on about email lead gen and why I do what I do, but one crucial topic we need to explore is actually just putting ourselves into the shoes of those people who are going to be buying our service, and actually just looking at everything from their point of view and just understanding the psychology behind their buying decisions. So if we can truly understand their mindset and motivations, ultimately it's just going to help you write much more effective email campaigns and just making them that much more persuasive, because you're just seeing it from their point of view. So over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to give you the rundown of the psychological factors just influencing B2B buying behavior and provide actionable tips to apply this knowledge in your marketing efforts. So just to kick things off, the rational and emotional balance. It's very easy for us, and I to see this more often than not, that people just jump to the conclusion that B2B buyers are nothing like B2C buyers and they are purely rational. However, as much as we may not like to admit it, just we as humans are incredibly emotional beings, and that's just frankly something we can't avoid. Even when you're working for the man and some big corporation, and your middle management, and you're purchasing on behalf of that big corporation, emotions are still just going to play a big role in influencing the purchase decisions of these people. So while B2B buyers are expected to make logical decisions based on the data, just emotions are going to actually impact their perception of value and trust, satisfaction with the person they're buying from, that particular vendor. So tips to leverage this knowledge is going to be emphasizing the logical benefits and features of the products and service you're selling. So also it's going to be appealing to the buyer's emotions by addressing their pain points. And ultimately, this is not only going to show you actually understand their business, but it's also going to show how your solution is going to contribute to the overall success of the business they work for. And then finally, just using testimonials and case studies to highlight the positive emotional experiences of your clients. The next one is just risk aversion and trust. So B2B purchases just naturally are going to be bigger. It's not like you're buying a £5 t-shirt down at Primark. These purchases are going to be in their thousands, hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions. And naturally, with that means the stakes are going to be that much higher. It's going to fall on them if that purchase doesn't pull off. So naturally, if the stakes are higher, it's going to be that much more important that you trust the person you're buying from. And so that is going to be a big factor in the decision-making process. So buyers want to be assured that their investment is going to yield the desired outcomes, because ultimately if it doesn't, they're going to have their boss breathing down the neck, kind of giving them shit. So they need to be totally sure they trust the person they're encountering. So what can you do to enhance this? And it's basically going to be establishing your credibility by showing your expertise. So again, I'm going to talk about this a lot over the next 10 minutes, but case studies and, maybe you have any awards or certifications within the particular industry or industry affiliations, and actually then providing transparent pricing. So being totally upfront about that, no hidden costs, and just being very clear about what the product and service entails. And another one is guarantees, warranties, service legal agreements. But yeah, guarantees. So give you an example for me, that would be, I guess it is a guarantee, but yeah. So basically I work purely on performance. On average, I get my clients probably between 5 and 10 book calls a month with their ideal customer profiles. But the guarantee there is that I work purely on performance. So they only pay if I come up with what I'm saying I can do for them. And so there's no risk there for them. If I don't get them their results, I don't get paid, and well, they don't have to pay. So that's me sharing the risk, and also that they just have that insurance, and it incentivizes me to get these results to them. So the next one is the power of social proof. Again, I bang on about this a lot, but this is so important. But ultimately, of course, we care about what other people think. And if you can speak to someone and they say they're great or they're terrible, just, whatever you say, you're naturally going to be swayed in your decision making. So social proof, I can't bang the drum about this enough. And it's something in my own business I'm trying to get more, but this is what's going to help validate the buying decision. And ultimately, it will help them seek reassurance. And if that's from their peers, colleagues, or just wider industry experts, it's just going to help them confirm that they're making the right choice. So again, this is probably just quite an obvious one, but this is what you need to do is so collecting and showing positive reviews and testimonials from existing satisfied clients or past clients. Collaborating with industry influencers to endorse your brand or offering, and then sharing success stories, so case studies. I think case studies is a good one because I think this is kind of really brings to life rather than just like, oh, this is great, but actually showing a case study of like, if it's a service, they came into our business, they did X, and this is where we were before, this is where we are now. I think that kind of brings to life, it kind of paints the picture what that would be like if you then worked for that particular client. So yeah, detailed case studies, highly recommend. I'm going to bang on about it again, but yeah, case study, case study, case study. So the next one, so the power of subjective perception. What do I mean by that? So I think this is an important one to acknowledge, because whether you like it or not, B2B buyers are going to bring in past bias, maybe in a past job, past experiences, and certain expectations to decision-making process. So these subjective perceptions are actually going to significantly influence on how they interpret and evaluate certain information. So I think this is going to be probably one of the more challenging ones. But if you can distill this down, it's going to massively help your outreach, and actually just whatever that is, your outreach or your marketing, is just going to make it that much more compelling and impactful. To go about doing this, it's kind of about creating. I would say it's about creating detailed buyers personas and including and trying to figure out what those emotional triggers and motivations could be. And that could be actually from past people who reached out to you. You've kind of got to learn, you've kind of documented what those objections have been, and also just building a list of the reasons why people may not buy your product or service, and actually then looking at that subjectively and kind of going down that list and just proactively addressing those concerns. And you can actually put that in your content. So I always find that's a really useful exercise. So, okay, next one. So factors influencing B2B buying decisions. You are going to see a bit of crossover because then this feeds into it. But so we've looked into the emotional aspects, but, what's the overriding business aspects, they're going to influence the buying decisions. And obviously there's going to be more than what I've listed here, but these are what I believe to be the main ones. So business needs and challenges. So do they even need your solution in the first place? Is it relevant to their business? Is it going to address their pain points, whatever that may be? And is it going to improve the performance of the business operations? So like you get the gist, but the point is you need to understand your audience needs and challenges to then ultimately help tailor your communication to position your product as service as the ideal solution for them. It's pointless reaching out to someone your service isn't even relevant to them, and ultimately you're just going to piss them off. Return of investment, ROI. We offer we offer a B2B lead gen service that costs $1,200 a month, and we estimate that you'll see a £600 a month return. Look, that's just my point is that's not going to fly in a million years. The point is, ROI is so important in the B2B buying process, and ultimately, look, they all have a P&L to adhere to, and it's not going to make them very good at their job if they were to invest in something that ultimately gives them a loss. They're just going to get shit from the level above them. So if you can't prove ROI, like I just don't think you should even be bothering, because you're going to have a massive uphill task. But look, buyers want assurance that their investment will help yield positive return and ultimately contribute to the company's growth. So this is why you need to provide solid evidence of the ROI of your product or service. So someone was actually said to me a while back that if you strip business back, there's obviously so many different facets that go into what makes a business, whatever the product and service you're offering are. But essentially, if you can just become a case study machine, just proving your ROI again and again, that's just going to massively propel you forward. So become a case study machine, prove your ROI. So important. Quality and reliability. I don't think this needs to have a big explanation. This is just a non-negotiable for B2B buyers. They seek well-made, durable, and dependable products. So a strong track record of delivering high-quality offering is just going to massively help establish trust and credibility. So this is why so often you see is that those starting out, particularly in a service, it's you often see people just going down that route of just prioritizing, just giving out their service, almost for free, working for nothing, and just prioritizing, just building out the rapport and just demonstrating your competence. because, ultimately, if you can do that, you're just going to pay dividends later on by actually people wanting to pay for you because they can see you clearly say you can do what you say you do. Peer recommendations and reviews. So I'd say this is probably a big reason why people niche down to an industry segment, because peer recommendations reviews, they just carry such weight in the B2B space. So again, this is something I saw the other day. So it's if someone recommends a candidate for a company, that candidate through that recommendation statistically is 40% higher to receive the job than the other potential workers. So I guess how can we apply this? So if you have a satisfied customer and you're riding on really, really good results for them, you should ride that wave and get them to provide a testimonial for you. Just capitalize on that, because that is just going to massively help you. And if you're then having a good run targeting a particular niche, you can then leverage that in your outreach. So yeah, peer recommendation reviews, really big one for me. And then lastly, this kind of sort of feeds into the above. So I'm not going to I'll put this down as a subsection, and I guess it's kind of a no shit Hugo statement, but I'll include it anyway. But yeah, trust and reputation. Buyers are so much more likely to engage with a supplier they perceive as trustworthy. So this again, it's incredibly obvious, but this requires consistently delivering on promises and actually just providing an exceptional customer service. So as a conclusion, that's kind of all from me. And I guess when you're next crafting your next campaign, just avoid the urge to just talk about yourself and how great your product or service is, and take a minute to pause and think. The rational and emotional triggers. So the person you're targeting will be rational, but also have emotional triggers. Risk aversion. This is likely to be a big purchase, and naturally they'll be very risk averse. So the stakes are high. So trust is crucial. Have social proof in abundance. It's going to go a really, really long way in reassuring them. B2B buyers will bring their biases, experiences, and expectations to the decision-making process. So pre-plan how you can counter out their objections and even address those objections in your marketing. Relevant, ensure they actually even need your product or service in the first place. Justify return on investment, and if you can't do that, just don't even bother. Quality and reliability, non-negotiable. And then I've said it again, but yeah, trust. Make sure your business case study machine. Make sure your business is a case study machine. Anyway, look, that's all from me, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.